Hello, everybody. This is Victor here from Trend Following Trading for Beginners, and here's my weekly update on my sample trading portfolio coming up next. Hello, guys. How are you? Hope you have a good week. Well, basically, the market has been up and down quite a lot, and this week is a up week. But I personally feel it's a trap. The reason I'm going to explain later. But like Monday, we suddenly have a market gone up like pre-market about 16,000 points, all because there's some sort of vaccine news from Pfizer saying the vaccine is doing well, 90% coverage, whatever. But at the end of the day, up 800 odd points, and then the next day continue another 200 odd points. So it's like 1,000 points up early in the week. Wednesday is supposed to continue, but then there's some basic coming back on the market, draw back from the market, and down 23 points. Thursday, in another down day, but then on Friday it's up 400 points. So more or less, the whole week is up like 1,000 points or something. But as far as I'm concerned, what the reason why I call this week is a trap is basically. If any of you actually got time to look at Pfizer's vaccination result news, you find out that it is only a news from Pfizer themselves to say how well it has been doing with its own level 3, phase 3 tests and analysis so forth, and just say how great it is and so forth. And somehow the market just took that as a good news that the vaccine will be available very, very quickly, and then the whole market gone up. And gone up to such a point that it's up to like 30,100 points at a time. And but then end of the day, at least make a new high, but only up like 800 odd points. And gone way past 29,500 mark. And there's a hopper around 29,500 at the moment. All of this, as far as I'm concerned, is basically the market is just misinterpreting the news, or just only look at possibility of a vaccine coming out soon, with Pfizer say if the U.S. medical government institution allowed it to basically send out the vaccine. If it continue to do well, then we have some vaccine by December or something. But all of this is just basically one-sided news from the company itself. There's no actual other third-party medical organization actually cross-check what the test result is and to verify and just to agree and raise perhaps a concern and stuff. Because remember, this vaccine for people to inject, and it's not just like some sort of statistic data or some sort. In every vaccine, every medicine, I believe there's always a drawbacks, side effect, that kind of thing, and nobody's really talked about much of the drawbacks. So it basically it just, as far as I'm concerned, is very much of a market manipulation on the news, and then just get loads of people into the market. But the other thing, if you look at the chart itself, you look at the volume, and on Monday the volume was really great, one of the high big volume when. And just like when the market trying to like top or bottom or something happen, and you wonder in this case who is actually taking the other side of the trade, and because at the back end, behind the scene, of course people knows the COVID-19 in US, it's getting worse. In Europe, it's sort of flat line at the moment, getting a bit better, topping a bit. But then for America, it's just not good at all. And with so many people having the vaccine issue, with the COVID-19 issue, even if the vaccine is available, a lot of people will most likely lose their job, won't be able to, a lot of companies won't be able to open up very quickly with full level of staff like before the pandemic, and it's likely the unemployment to be consistent quite bad. So as far as I'm concerned, the vaccination is only the first step. Let the market, let the economy to open up again. But then there's all sort of a lot of companies just couldn't stand the shutdown or the lack of business, and then have to fold and have to declare bankrupts and go into bankruptcies, and how that directly affect the economy, directly affect it on employment. Then of course people couldn't pay the rent, bills and stuff, the whole shebang. And then this is how I feel. It's very much like the market just like one side are just not looking at it, look at the actual side in the background. But I suppose having vaccines available is a good news, that we have something. I mean, the Russians have some vaccines running around, and so is Chinese, and it's testing in Brazil and stuff as well as in China. So there's like 2 or 3 of them more running around who have some good promises of the vaccinations available. But you look at this vaccine news is. Does the market have to react so much on that? It just, to me anyway, it smells a bit of like I smell rat, so to speak. And the other thing is in the general market, when naturally gone, this wild gyration, up and down so much, is when the market suddenly hit normal path, and then suddenly hit some turbulence, and then try to find its route and then gone down. And it always happens when it's near the top or near the bottom. The fluctuations that the market try to find its feet with news, positive and negative, and try to interpret those news and find a market. As far as I'm concerned, this is not really a good bear. It's not a good bull market signal. It's more like a bear market signal to me. And all this put together just doesn't feel right at all. And the other thing is, funny enough, the Pfizer CEOs also choose that day, Monday. Last week that just gone, basically when the vaccination news came out from Pfizer, at the same time sold about 100,000 shares. The Pfizer news coming out to basically say it is, this is part of the CEO normal stock sale options, also something that is prearranged, and it just happened to hit that day. But then it's just like, why is it such a coincidence? I don't believe really in coincidence. And Pfizer is not a small company. It's a big international drug company. They must have good HR governance in general, and they will know that people will ask questions and raise their eyebrows to, when you have a news, some good fantastic news about vaccine test result and progress result, and then you have the CEO somehow selling the shares. It just makes people feel like the CEO is using that news to actually able to sell the shares at a higher price. And the governors have done this job properly. I mean, minimum I was expect the CEO will sell the share maybe next day. That kind of stuff to basically show that the two things has nothing to do with it. But for some reason Pfizer just didn't do that. And I've seen a lot of news on U.S. news channel basically just saying, this is just part and parcel they're allowed to do. But there's some people talking to ex-SEC members, and the possibility of maybe wrongdoing, but it's not impossible for people to just selling at the price like that way because it's prearranged, selling a certain date. But it just raises eyebrows basically. But I just feel all these little signals are just not right, just showing the market doing things. But generally what I've seen, what we all seen the last 3 weeks or so, is the market is gone down before the US election, expecting there's Joe Biden win or lose or something. It's not good for the market. And then and also because COVID-19 coming in, so much spread around, people worry about people catching the COVID-19, so the market went down like 1,800 points 3 weeks or so ago. And then a week after that, the US election just gone past about 10 days ago, and then basically that week the stock market in US gone up like over 2,000. So he raised the 1,800 down the week before, and then this week another 1,000 points, as if all this stuff is basically means the vaccination is there and the market is opening up, that sort of thing. It just doesn't give you the right feeling. It just feels very much is somebody is doing some games and playing. I mean, especially the vaccination news. I've read the actual new issue from Pfizer's website, and it doesn't really say what type of it says spread around the world to test it. US is 30% or something, but never tells you the type of people that's been tested on, which country or so forth. So like which race and what's the age group, male and female. Any of these people are children, pregnant women, old people, or old people with pre-existing health issue, that kind of thing. It doesn't tell you any of that, and basically just say, oh, it's going well, and also they just actually said it had been checked by another third party, probably have the similar, agree what their results are. Nobody will actually test it yet, and also this is supposed to be like a 2-dose vaccination similar to the one from China. But the thing is, even if everything goes as planned, like what Pfizer's news said, in that news piece, it actually claimed to be able to, I think they have already stockpiled it, 50 million doses by within this year, 2020, and then up to 1.3 billion doses in next year, 2021. But we all know, just do a very quick Google check, there's around 7.8 billion people on Earth. Let's say, assume everybody got to be vaccinated. It would take about 5 to 6 years. And let's say if the Chinese vaccination as well as the Russian vaccination come around as well and share around the world with the US one as well. So there, let's say 3 potential vaccination available running around. I'm sure it takes at least a couple of years. And at the start of the vaccination when it's available, it's likely to be limited because it takes time to manufacture the vaccine. And who will actually get it first? Which group of people in which country will get it first? Like what we've seen, what Donald Trump had done. Try to safeguard some, mask equipment or something for the health organization, for hospitals and stuff. Other countries would do similar thing. Would U.S. basically say, okay, only U.S. citizens go first? Okay, U.S. have about 340 million people actually living there. Okay, China have about 1.4 billion people. The question really is, out of these 50 million doses, I assume everything is good, finger crossed, and people can use it. Who out of the 340 million of the population actually going to get used it? Okay, and even for 50 million doses in this year, how long would that take for those 50 million U.S. citizens to get vaccination? Is still a question mark. And also news on the vaccination itself. The vaccine have to be stored in minus 80 degrees, and it is a specialist vaccine that need specially trained people to do the injection. And it's not just basically send the vaccines to any health clinic and hospital, and people just go there and get a jab, and that be done with. It's not. You need some specialist centers to actually do it. People need to be specially trained, all sort of things. So this is just a general questions, and I say, well, after the vaccine, everything going well, the economy start to pick up again, people start to travel with much more confidence. But for the economy to pick up, it will take some time. I'm talking about years, maybe 2 to 5 years or something. At the same time, the government probably have to put a lot more stimulants checks and sending out, pump a lot more money into the economy. And so to me, it's definitely bad for the U.S. dollar index. And overall, people seem to just cheer the news, which is very emotional, and then the stock market has gone up. So all this about efficient market theory, people are very rational when it comes to news, and then disseminate the information into the stock market and so forth. As far as I'm concerned, this efficient market theory doesn't work because it doesn't deal with real life, real human beings. And it's just gonna be quite, fascinating how the news media actually doing that. And on the other hand, on the other hand, that's financial related. Okay, pardon my language. At the moment, everybody thinks Joe Biden is the elected U.S. president for next term, but we all know Donald Trump is still trying his best to try to derail Joe Biden's presidency. And until we actually got a confirmed say yes from the Congress, I believe, to confirm the vote result. I think middle of December, next year. Donald Trump can still, might be able to pull something out of the hat. People don't seem to have figured out, put that in as part of the financial stock market, as far as I'm concerned. And also, you also see how a lot of news, you've seen them, naturally they think projected winner will be Joe Biden. Fine, fair enough. But then you see the all the negative news that the Donald Trump's team try to give out from the White House, or his own tweet saying, basically say there is no the voting was rigged, and then Donald Trump should be back in the White House a second term again, those kind of things, and say a lot of nonsense. Fair enough, it's not nonsense, but for some reason, some of the channels actually was transmitting live of U.S. President's speech, Donald Trump's speech from the White House. Normally, I would expect them allowed the whole speech to go out on air, even though it's maybe a lot of BS, a lot of wrong information. But for some news channel, actually switch it off and say, sorry, the president say a lot of misinformation, incorrect information, we have to stop it here, that kind of thing. I've never seen that before. I would have thought it's part of the news channel around the world is if the country's highest office to say there's some important news to that have to come out from in this case the White House, you would expect as part of the the license to say you must carry whatever the president's speech is. You must when it's live information, you should just broadcast it. But for some reason, news channel seems to be selective to say, oh no, I don't want to pass information out live, on air, even though yes, we both believe and can see and understand some of the information that Donald Trump said is totally wrong as far as I'm concerned. But then it's up to us as individual to decide what is right, what's wrong, and for the news channel basically report news, not biased news, just report balanced news. So if the president say a lot of BS, we can go back after that and just point the fingers at him, saying he's talking BS again. Some news channel should say that and ridicule him. Fair enough. But then actually stop Donald Trump's and his office in the White House to actually say whatever they need to say on air. I think a bit strange. This is supposed to be from a country that's democratic, freedom of speech, right? then how the news channel actually stopped it, and halfway through just disrupt the transmission, live transmission of Donald Trump's speech, is a bit beyond me. I don't quite understand how that works, and it's just very, very weird. But as far as I'm concerned, this election have make a lot of people do a lot of funny things and silly things in a way. But then the stock market is not doing anything different. 1 minute is very, very depressed. Next minute is very, very happy. I think Warren Buffett says some of his books about it. It's like maniac. 1 minute I'm very happy. Next minute is I'm going to jump out the window, that kind of thing. This is basically, as far as I'm concerned, very volatile market is, and we have to trade those markets. It's going to be difficult. But as far as I'm concerned, the trend following is catching it. But I would say, take whatever the market's given us with a pinch of salt and be ready to go if the market suddenly turn on its dime. Because I personally feel there's just a lot of informations out there that the news is quite biased on something, and there's still a lot of things going on that might make our life going to be suddenly turn upside down. A lot of black swan event going to happen. In a sense, I just feel that whatever people is expecting, it might not end up that way. I personally hope Joe Biden, president-elect, will actually be going to the White House. But who knows what President Donald Trump might do? Pull something out of his hat, and might cause some upset. And when there's maybe a chance to the Congress may not agree with the vote, with whatever reported back to them by the vote, to say I don't agree with this college vote. I think some of it is biased or whatever, and don't agree with what happened. Then we may have a political storm actually brewing, and that causes the market to go up and down even more so. But people, I personally feel, because I'm a trend follower, I try to protect my downside, and I always expect there will be some outliners that will happen. And if that happens, I need to make sure that I get on the market and don't get hurt too much. But outliner do happens, and happens as and when people least expect it. And also, I've been saying for the last month now, more or less. Around that now, that the U.S. election have encouraged lots of people going out to meet the president candidate, so to speak. And Joe Biden's speech seems to be a lot better. It's organized for the rally and stuff. It is social distancing, asking people to drive in to listen to the speech and so forth. Much better. But if you look at Donald Trump's one, all his supporters, initially a lot more, all of them not wearing masks. Now it'd be better, but still a lot of people a lot of Donald Trump supporters not wearing masks. And then the hospital basically just, on a daily basis, finding out more COVID-19 tests positive, people test positive, and breaking new high every single day, hundreds of thousands of cases, and many people end up dying as well. And it's like, people from the Donald Trump camp, basically, there's a supporter, some reason that it's more important to, rally around the president than, worry about maybe they caught the virus and may die, or their loved one might die because they might have caught it, they are symptomatic, and just, bring it back home and that kind of thing. And I don't see, with all this virus running around, the stock market still going wild and going up. It's just madness to me as far as I'm concerned. But this is exactly what I use Trendful, and I just use systematics approach. And sometimes the market can just go, very emotional, gyration, volatile, up and down to do something that it totally out of character. That's out of logic. And therefore you just need to stick with your system. So as far as I'm concerned, beware of some outlier things that might happen. The market, as far as I'm concerned, is very much manipulated. Just look at the Pfizer news. It's good that we have some vaccination news, the tests and so forth. That's new. That might coming out very soon. Fine. But how is that going to be distributed? How is that going to store? Nobody talks about it. Just say it's ready, as if tomorrow we have the vaccine, everybody will get injection the day after. That kind of thing. Everybody's cheering up. And I just think somehow what it forces us together is if there's some forces behind the scene that pushing all this good news out in the stock market, and you see the volume coming out in Dow Jones to actually show you there's a lot of people is somehow selling, and other people actually bought into it. So it's an exchange going on here. So who has actually picked up the past, so to speak, pick up loads of shares the last Monday or this couple of weeks? It's worth trying to find out, because I think the market is very toppy, and I don't believe with the economic background will be lots of places shut down and vaccination not really readily available. A lot more COVID-19 cases being tested positive, and I personally just feel also the stimulus checks are not really coming out yet from the U.S. government. So how would the Dow Jones continue to make still gone so high, and actually make a new high? So S&P 500 make new high already and came down a little bit, and Nasdaq definitely make new high, but it's came down a lot more because it's that's the first one that went up. So it might be also the first one that came down, leading coming down as well. So who knows? But I think you guys better be aware and watch the market, and always stick with your system. And your system say get out and get out. Don't try to fall in love with your position. But I definitely am going to say it again. It's definitely last 3 weeks now. I think it's good day, good month this month, and last month as well. In the last month for day traders, because of volatility. Within a week you can down almost 2,000 points. The week after up 2,000 plus, and this week up 1,000 points. So it's like a lot of volatility, a lot of big moves up and down, intraday moves. So the day trader probably making loads of money, and good luck to them. But how long will this volatility last? Who knows? But beware of the market, mate. Next will be have a look of my update of my portfolio. Okay, first off the bat is Apple. Not much difference from last week. It's a buy for short term, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. So one thing about this week is Dow Jones is gone up about 1,000 pounds or so this week. But then the Nasdaq and technology share don't seem to be doing much at all, just on a bit sideways. Next is Amazon. Yeah, just like I said just now, seems to be like sideways for the technology share, gone down. In this case for Amazon as well. Basically, sell for short term, medium term is neutral, long term is also neutral. So I guess the vaccine availability or the possibility of early vaccine available causes people to think, oh, people will start, investors start to think people will generally start to go back to work, and so therefore not going to buy things as much as online and so forth. So it seems to be a bit negative. I mean, same thing for the Zoom and eBay, those kind of things. So it's similar. So it's up for some shares, but not for everybody. Next is USD, Australian dollar against USD. Same as last week, short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. So this week you have, I think, gone like slightly touched 0.73 or something, but it's stay back, between the 0.70 and 0.72 again. So we're just fluctuating back and forth, trying to break above 0.73, but just haven't got much luck. But we just have to wait and see. Next is Brent crude. Short term is a buy. Same as last week. Medium term is neutral. Long term is now a buy. Same thing for crude oil, WTI. Short term is a buy. Medium term is neutral. Long term is a buy. So like I said before, basically I think crude oil did slowly making it headway. I mean, the possibility of the vaccine also means a possibility of a lot more. Maybe internal within the country traveling, so use a lot more oil, but also possibility of maybe international traveling as well. So definitely sounds like a positive. But the other thing is for the U.S. dollar index is try to break back above 93, but it did went there a little bit, 93.50, but again came back down again around 90, 92.80 or some area. So it's just not doing that well for US dollar index. Next is DAX from Germany. Short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy, so slight change for long term from last week, so long term is a buy now. So that big move on Monday on Nasdaq, Nasdaq, I mean Dow Jones, basically affect a lot of indices around the world, and DAX is one of them, so long term is a buy now. Dow Jones, I said earlier, short term is a buy, medium term is also a buy now, long term is a buy. So basically, short term wise, I've been buying for last week already, but medium term has changed to buy as well. So the sudden move on Monday definitely changed the scale a bit. So all across the board, short, medium term, the long term is all buy for Dow Jones. Next is FTSE 100 in UK. Short term is a buy, medium term is also a buy, and long term is also a buy. So similar to Dow Jones. So again, this one is across the board is a buy at the moment. Next is gold. Effectively, the big up move on Monday from on Dow Jones. Basically, it's the negative. It's a big negative for gold, and it's short term is a sell now. I believe it went down to almost $90. At one stage almost $100, but I think it ended up 90 negative. Medium term is neutral. Long term is also medium. So you may look big move for gold for recent volatility, but if you look at back in 2010, 2011, those kind of areas, $100 moves here and there is not that unusual for gold, and so this is what's happening. But one serious point I need to think of is 80-50 level is continue to stay there. So 80-50 is holding for quite some time. 80-50, 80-40 area. So I think there's still a good chance gold will recover. We just wait and see. Also, the last quarter of the year is always a bit quiet for gold, but who knows? Just have to wait and see here. It might be a bit contrary. It's a buying opportunity because 1850 has been sort of holding for quite some time. So just wait and see. Next is Hang Seng Index. Short term, medium term is long term is also buy. All three buy. So same as last week, no change there. Next is Nasdaq. Short term is a buy, medium is neutral, long term is a buy. So this buy, short term, medium term, and neutral, long term is a buy. Same as last week, no change. The sudden move on Dow Jones didn't really affect Nasdaq. In fact, Nasdaq gone down, I believe, over the week, not as much as not making new high as such. But because it's Nasdaq is technology heavy, with many people thinking of some sort of normalcy come back to people's life in around the world, US is particular, with the vaccine possibly available. But I think that's still early stage yet. But the market basically forward thinking, and Nasdaq's not going anyway. Next is Nikkei in Japan. Short term, medium term, long term is also a buy. So yeah, across the board, just like Danks and Dow Jones as well. Next is silver. Similar to gold, it's been moving down quite a bit on Monday. So short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is also neutral. So gold and silver go hand in hand together. Next is US dollar against the Chinese dollar, yuan. It's just continuous sell at the moment, medium and long term. Short term has been quite fluctuating the last couple of weeks, but so sell across the board at the moment for US dollar against Chinese dollar. This is just generally the case. You've seen, I think I mentioned before in my podcast, that ever since China be a lot more vocal and push back from whatever Donald Trump and his administration is saying about China, you see that the Chinese dollar are continuously increasing in strength. Remember what U.S. presidents in all previous administration, Donald Trump included, they're saying China is basically manipulating the market and holding the currency down. Basically, it's the reverse. It's doing the currency manipulation, yeah, but actually, it's supposed to strengthen up. It just try to keep it low, that so it won't go any lower, that kind of thing, within a certain range. So it's good for American dollar. But so now America's keep on accusing it is manipulating market. Okay, I'm not manipulating it, and let the market deal with it. And because the Chinese government had no more gold and been tightening its balance sheet, those kind of things. So it's just fair. Chinese dollar against US dollar is stronger compared to US dollars. So it's effectively it's a gain for Chinese dollar and it's a loss for US dollar. So to sell across the board, the medium short-term fluctuations, nothing much here for things like this. Short-term, medium-term trend following system is much useful that way. Next is US dollar against Japanese yen. Short term is a buy, medium and long term is a sell. So when the Dow Jones suddenly moves up on Monday, basically the people basically get out of Japanese yen and into dollar, so to speak, and went to buy some more dollar stuff, dollar denominated shares or stuff, and that seems to be what's showing in the US dollar against Japanese yen's cross. Next is British pound against Japanese yen's buy. Short term, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. British pound against US dollar. Short term is also a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is a buy. So in general, like I said before, the US dollar is weakening. So British pound is up, but it has its own issue that we have the COVID-19 and national lockdown and things like in England. And we also have the Brexit coming in. Now it's middle of November now, and it's about 6 weeks' time. It's likely to have a hard landing. The British pound against the US dollar is trying to go back above 1.33, but seems to be, it's a ceiling and came back down again. So it's playing within the 132 area at the moment. But we just have to wait and see. The weakness of the US dollar is a positive for pounds, but it's the Brexit is a negative for British pound. So it's likely, if we don't have any more agreement with the European Union, it's likely British pound is going to go down, I believe, simply because there's no deal with Europe, and there will be a hard exit from the European Union by Britain, and I think that will be negative. But we just have to wait and see what the price say. Next is Bitcoin. Short term, medium term, and long term is also buy. So that's been happening for the last 3-4 weeks now. I mean, it's funny that if you look at YouTube especially, and also the financial news channel, people suddenly talk about Bitcoin and projection where it will go, 20,000, 25,000, whatever, it's just going up. But I've been saying that, ever since broken about 11,000, just basically after you have broken out from the 9,050, 500 marks, 10,000 marks, it's been more or less an upward trend. And this is what we say here. If you follow your rules, the charts and the price seems to have always shows its hand first, and then you follow the rule you lash on, where nobody else actually telling you to, and then suddenly news start noticing it. So you see on newspaper or news channel, and then YouTubers suddenly see something about it. By the time you already got on it, other people say now you can get on it, and all this projection. I mean, the question is, how do they know where it might be using whatever Fibonacci, whatever, in predictions or some chart formation, whatever. But at the end of the day, is the price can go anywhere as far as you're concerned. This is a great example for Bitcoin. If you stick with your system, it's very likely you get on to uptrend using trend following system well before anybody else. The major media actually tells you what's actually going on, or try to explain to you what's going on. But to be fair and honest, nobody knows exactly why the price moved. They can only guess, they can only put their explanation. But you're not here trading wise. This is quite good things to know. You're not here to try to understand why the price moved. You're here to surf the trend, surf the wave, just like your server. You go to a beach, you just go surf the wave. You don't care how the wave is made. You just go surf it. So in this case, Bitcoin is moving up, lash onto it. And people say predicting how high it go. I mean, to be honest, I would much prefer to go to the moon. 100,000, 200,000. Some amazing, absolutely ridiculous number. Even a million. What do you think? But we'd actually go there. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. You can use something to gauge and predict it, but let the market tell you. So you don't have to waste your energy and try to use all sort of method, or I don't know, fortune telling, whatever, tell you how high it goes. At the moment the price is enough to tell you it's moving up, your systems already tell you to do so. In this very simple trend following system here. And you just have to enjoy the ride and wait and see. Next is TLT ETF, basically the iShares 20. Short term is a sell, medium term is neutral, long term is a sell. So with the Dow Jones and moving back up to positive territory last couple of weeks, especially on Monday, TLT basically is become a sell now, short term. So it's not doing much that well at the moment for TLT. Next is Tesla. Short term is a buy, medium term is neutral, long term is also neutral. So with the Dow Jones, we've up almost 1,000 points again this week. Haven't done too much for Tesla, so a bit it's probably a bit of a technology related issue here, but we just have to wait and see. This week though, I would like to include in this portfolio Australia Index XJO. Apparently, it looks like, as far as I'm concerned, if we look at the chart, the main reason I look at it is because of the Australian dollar against US dollar. It seems to be stuck in a range at the moment between 0.7 to 0.72. Try to break above 0.73, still a bit difficult. Looks like there's a big setting up there, but Australian share market, the main index here, XJO seems to be above the 200-day average. Short-term system is up, also is the medium-term system. So across the board is up. So maybe this, what I said before, the Asian countries come up first, while European countries will be lacking, and so is America. Maybe Australia is the place also to check up as well. At the moment, it has broken above the index has broken above 200-day moving average. I think it's tried to did some sort of test the lower ceiling of the 200-day moving average, then bounce back. But we just have to wait and see how it goes. But what I would like to find out though is like when the market sort of coming down a little bit after people taking stride of the U.S. elections and the vaccines and stuff news together, and when the market corrected a little bit, whether actually broke back below the 200 days moving average, we just have to wait and see. But I think overall this is a good one to include, so that just to track it. I think long term wise there's a possibility with basically the chart as well as the share price, the index price. It's actually showing using this trend following system that it is going to be a positive. So I just got to include this and just see how it goes. Basically that's the end of my podcast for this week. So continue to be vigilant with the prices. The market in general is going to be volatile as usual. I don't think we will have much of a calmer market until probably mid-January, until Biden actually sworn in, because we never know what Donald Trump might do. He might just continue to just make it difficult for Joe Biden to transition into White House, or just not conceding, and basically, he might be actually still say he is supposed to be the winner. People are still the vote when he actually left the White House, and not giving any congratulations to Joe Biden. But who knows? But as far as I'm concerned, he looks a bit like a bad loser. But until all the legal challenges are down, and it's difficult to actually, to confirm, to basically just to say yes, Joe Biden definitely look like have won it. I mean, all the indication has been, all the projected votes has been Joe Biden's definitely is the president-elect. But yeah, just difficult to gauge what Donald Trump does. You know how he is like. Even for his friends, like look at Canada and Mexico, have an existing agreement. You just go to border them and change it. Who knows when come to his own presidency, he might just continue to bully the whole system and try all sort of thing until he get his way, or going out. I'm not sure we'll bang or not, but definitely kicking and screaming, and it's not going to be fun. And the other things, of course, is the coronavirus. So for everybody around the world, just be safe, and especially for American listeners. I know it's Europeans as well. I just hope you guys be more careful, and hopefully God bless you all, and the virus doesn't hurt you or touches you, and keep safe. And I'll speak to you next week. Bye for now.